Hello and welcome to Concept Hunter episode 20 something. Yes, last week we did not have an episode because I was busy watching the International 2013 that just ended for Dota 2, and next week we won't have an episode because I will actually be at Gamescom, but this week we have 3 games to go through, so that kind of compensates for it, in a way. I hope. Right? Yes, let's get started immediately with the first game. Again, as usual, none of the games have anything in common, but they're just games that I want to talk about a little bit. And the first one is actually called XCVB. So let's press play. It's a very, very simple thing. And before we actually go into it, I want to talk about what it does. What it does is screw with your controls. And I dislike it. So here is why. I'm fine if you want to have weird controls if there is a reason for it. If the controls are in a very specific way for a really good reason, then I'm cool with it. But if you have trivial gameplay that is made difficult artificially by controls, I dislike that. I don't feel that it's worth it in a way. Some people are fine with that. Me specifically, I don't feel that there's a point in having really screwed up controls just for the sake of having really screwed up controls. And this is exactly what XCVB does. I want to give you an example of something that actually does work. The game Dust Force is a platformer that you can get on Steam. It is a very good platformer that got very high praise. And when you first start playing it, it has the traditional controls for a platformer, but it's weird. And it gets a while to get used to. Now, it seems weird at first, but as you keep on playing, you understand that there's a good reason for the controls to be that way in order to help you out with the game. What the game asks you to do makes a lot of sense if you have those controls, and that is perfectly fine. But in this game, we just have controls that are completely screwed up for the sake of having controls that are really screwed up. So let's just show you what it actually is. XCVB, so those are the controls. I'm going to put my hand on XCVB, press space. We have horrible dance music, which is lovely. And then we have X and C, which what they actually do is just switch left and right. As you can see, left and right, that's X. C actually switches up and bottom. And then V and B will move in those directions. So this X switches left and right, V will actually move, actually bottom, so X, B will actually do this, and I can move along them. I'm using X to switch the direction, and B to actually keep on moving. And then I can switch with C, I can switch up and down, and V I can actually move. And there you go, I finished the level. So basically all I had to do was just move to the right and move to the bottom. Trivial gameplay, made difficult because the controls are so screwed up. And that's pretty much 100% of what the game does. And once you get used to it, it's not as difficult, but it is definitely annoying. And I'm gonna try and see if I can actually do this. And then this one, okay. So that's the entirety of the game. I stopped here because I'm not even gonna, that's it. I'm done with this. I'm completely done with this. I dislike it. That's just the concept of what the game does. Some people are perfectly fine with it. That is my personal opinion on the game. That is the concept here. And I wanted to show it because I wanted to talk about controls and how I conceive them. So, again, if you have a really good reason to have weird controls, then that's okay. But the gameplay here is completely trivial. And the controls are like this just to have the controls in this way, which I don't see as correct game mechanics. That is the way that I see it. But that's what they decided to do, and that's my thoughts on it. So, yes, moving on. We're moving on to Light Quest. And Light Quest is a game that has a cool concept, and then it forgets that it has a concept. And then it comes back to the concept. And then it forgets that it has it again. And as everything else is mediocre, it also kind of falters for me. So Light Quest, it has a cute little art style, though it does get kind of bland. Press any key. So I pressed any key. We have a very long introduction where he walks and then his dog gets kidnapped and you're trying to help him. We're going to pass it because it's long and nothing happens. And then you get the controls. They're very, very simple. You can move around and you can jump and then you can use your staff. We'll talk about using the staff in a second. But the first thing, if you know me at all, I'm pressing the X button in order to jump and not the up button. And guess what the up button does? Absolutely nothing. Later on we'll find chests, and those chests can be opened by pressing the up key. But why? Why? But you could use the down key for it, I guess, because the down key doesn't do anything, and up could be jump. So, as always, up needs to be jump in platformers. Or at least give me the option to do so. At least it's not space, though space works, and at least I can use another key, which is X, so I'm not completely hating it, but it's kind of, up doesn't do anything, and that's, I just dislike this very much. So you move around, the controls are not that amazing, you move kind of slowly, and jumping is kind of faster than moving, so it kind of feels a bit weird, but it's okay, it's very standard, it's not bad, and it's not good. And what we can see, we have these signposts that don't always say something. This is the controls one. And I can jump actually over this part, and this is another checkpoint. And we have the and then everything goes dark. So I have the mana bar on the left side, and you can see that when I use my staff, I actually get a little bit of light, and the mana gets depleted. I can also just press, if I press for a long time, I just get light. If I press just a short press, then I get actually shoot bullets. So we'll have things to shoot later on. Hold shoot to light your staff, and I can stand next to these lanterns and actually replenish my mana, so I basically have infinite mana, as long as I stand close to them. But I need to just light my way. And this is pretty cool. You could do a lot of things with this. And the thing is, stay in the light in order to replenish your mana. So there's a lot of things you can do. You always have to manage your resources. And I absolutely love resource management. And it's really, I love resource management. It's lovely that we have it. It's one resource, and it's just to light your way. So if you know the game by heart, which obviously won't happen here as it's a short game, but if you know the game by heart, you don't need it, as it's not procedurally generated or anything like that. It's built-in levels, but it's still a nice resource management for the first time you play the game. And you just have to just keep on going and checking where you are. And then this happens. And then this happens, which weirds me out completely. I went into a signpost. The signpost doesn't say anything. It's obviously a checkpoint. And we have light. So, why do we have light, is my question. Why? And you have the basic tropes of, you know, that there's a path to the right, there's a path over here, that if I make a couple of good jumps, I can get this chest that has just, you know, stuff to collect, which is just points. And you can move to the right, you have these things that fall, but why do we have light? Why is there light? Especially now that you can replenish your mana, but I don't need mana, I'm not using it right now because I can see everything. Why did the game just forget the fact that it has a concept? And I walk through this checkpoint that doesn't even tell me anything, not even a sound to know that there's a checkpoint, there's just nothing, and now these are just enemies, I just shoot them a couple of times and they're gone. And there's light, and there isn't dark. Why? Will this cause dark? No, it doesn't actually cause dark. I can go to the right, I can go to the left. I'm gonna go to the right first because I think that's where you continue. And I will probably be correct here. Get this block to fall down, very basic stuff. I get this diamond, I open this chest, I get some more points. Basic tropes, there are also secret areas, there's probably more enemies. I hope the kill set gets more interesting than just it's very, very blue and just blue, but those are things that I really less care about. You can shoot up by just holding up. This is a difficult jump because the jump isn't that amazing. And there's just light all over the place. It isn't dark. And I just moved past another area that is, you know, it's kind of secret. It shows you that it's kind of secret. But there's light. Why is there light? Where's the concept? Where's the point of the entire game where everything is dark? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, damn, I died. And when you die, you just lose points and then you get back. So I guess if you reach 0 points, you'll die. But now we're back to the actual point of the game. So, okay, cool, I'm back to the actual point of the game, and there's even parts with water that work a little bit differently and change up my movement. This is well done, it's okay, this is what the game should be like. I'd love to move a little bit faster and have a bit of a better jump and better control over my character, but again, that's beside the point. And then we get to light again. I don't understand why. Stick with the concept. We're going into dark. There should never be light. Why should there ever be light? Play with the dark elements of the game. Play with the light and the dark elements. Play with them. Have them the main thing. And not just tiny little segments of darkness. Because the rest of it is just plain platforming that we've seen a million times before. And that is not something that I want to play because it's boring. This is a good concept. You could play on this. You could have a good game. And I actually stopped playing it because it was dull. So don't forget what you're actually doing. Don't go back to simple basic stuff. If you're doing something, do it. And this is good, but do it more. So Light Quest, have me deal with light more and let me press the up button in order to jump. So that is Light Quest. That is our second game when we're moving on. Not that overlay. We're moving on to Pretentious game number 3. This one is the last game that we have for today. It's called Pretentious Game, and as you can think about, it is rather pretentious. It talks about the relationships of these characters, these lovely square characters. This is Pretentious Game 3, which means there was Pretentious Game 1 and 2. You should play 1 and 2 before you play 3, as there is some sort of semblance of a story, and it's rather interesting, and it helps you connect with the game. I'm going to show you only 3 because I want to talk about what these games actually do, what the concept here is, and how great it is, and I really enjoyed it. And it goes throughout 1, 2, and 3. There isn't much of a difference. It is more of the same. It is the case of simply more of the same with 1, 2, and 3, and that's why I don't feel bad by jumping straight into 3. So I'm going to press continue, snap break. Good job, snap break. Play now. And this is Pretentious Game. We have a little bit of light, piano, music. We have to be pretentious. And before I press new game and actually start up, what this game does is show you the relationships between people, and people are squares in different colors, remember. So with that, it's very simple. It shows you the relationships between people and has the mechanics of different platforming elements, and every level change according to what it tries to convey, and it does it very well. Let's get started and actually show you. I was once a bride. We're talking about the female character first, but never a wife. I remember our wedding. I wanted to be with you forever. So basic controls, you move around, and your purpose is to reach. I wanted to be with you forever, so you have to reach the male. So the male is gray and the female is pink in this instance. So you have to reach it, finished it off. During our marriage, I discovered many hidden things. So I'm gonna find something that's hidden, right? So I go around here, I need to reach my partner. And I managed to do so because, this is the hidden part. It's not very difficult in most cases, it's rather obvious, but the way that the mechanics change is really nice. I find myself chasing the man I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. I'm gonna move to the right, and he moves as well. So I move both of them, I need to get them together. Now obviously what I can do here is just have them stuck, and then I can have them reach each other. I said open the door, it took you time. Now when I move, I have 3 of them. Specifically this level, I'm not exactly sure what the purple one does, because the purple one, I just kill the purple one. I mean, it will die. And then I have to jump over here, so this opens the door. And I have to get them, again, they move together, so I'm using this block. I'm using this block in order to have the pink one not move while I'm moving to the left side, which will allow me to have both of them at the same place. And I can move to the right, and they will actually meet up. So cool, different platforming, and it differs a little bit every time. So I managed to reach it. I will stop you this time, confront you, and get the truth. And it tells us to use the mouse. And when I move, they both move, and I have nothing. So I'm gonna try and use the mouse and hold it and maybe move it or something. And then I eventually find out that when I click the mouse and hold, he actually stays put. And then I can get them together. We have separated ways after I found out you were cheating. So again, wife, husband, he was cheating, and now when I move, they move in different directions. So I have to get them together again, but they move in different directions. And I have to do this carefully. I have to move a little bit here so that I'll have more space to move, and now I'm gonna fall down and make sure I'm back, and they get together again. You're now living with another woman. So in this instance, I'm just moving on my own just to progress the story. Very short, and I found out you have 2 children. So we move on, and now we move to a different character. I was once a mistress, and always will be. So we were with the pink one that was his wife, and then he moved on, and the male moved on to be with the purple one, and he's a mistress, and now we're talking about the mistress. Only one can have you, but that doesn't mean the first one will. So both of them are moving, and since I'm with the purple character, I want the purple character to have it. So the pink one actually falls off. I don't know if she dies, but that's the story that is conveyed here. I want to stop here because I could just keep on going, and we're at 15 minutes, and I like short videos. This is really well made, and I really enjoyed all 3 of the Pretentious games. As horrible as that sound, I enjoyed the Pretentious games. Where's my glass of wine? It's well made. It's done very, very nicely. It is very simple, but it conveys the story and the narrative and what it wants to tell you with the mechanics. And the way that works together is absolutely gorgeous in each one of the Pretentious games, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So this is a really nice concept. I would actually love to see, you know, Pretentious game 1, 2, and 3 plus more content, as these are very short, and if it was on Steam in an indie bundle for $5, I would totally buy it, because it gives me that vibe, and it's well made. It's like, I want to compare it to Thomas Was Alone, which was a very good platformer that is what I just said. It has a large amount of content, or at least a good amount of content. You can buy it for a small amount of money, you know, the indie bundles and stuff like that. This is of that quality for me, and though it is much shorter again, but if you combine all 3 games, it's a bit long, and it's really well made. So let's give credit where credit is due. XCVB is by Make Him an Offer, Light Quest is by ESTI3, and Pretentious Game 3 is by Kaibal. We've had 3 interesting games. This is Concept Hunter. My name is KOKOStern. Thank you so much for watching. Last week wasn't an episode. Next week there won't be an episode, because I'll be at Gamescom. If you're at Gamescom, say hi. If you'll find me, I'll be at the press area for the first day, as I am press. Woohoo! And that's it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the lovely piano music. Go play the games. Let me know what you think. See you later.